Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Raihan Pabudi as the closing government. Well, ladies and gentlemen, in this occasion, we have a very special and interesting motion that said that this house would impoverish corruptors. Well, from the motion, we have to highlight for a few keywords. First is impoverished. It means that an action to reduce to poverty, and it also means to make someone or people being extremely poor. And then the next is corruptors. Well, ladies and gentlemen, firstly, you have to know that corrupt is an action in lacking in integrity, open to or involving bribery or other dishonest practice. And it also means to become or cause to become dishonest or disloyal. So, from the definition above, corruptors means a person or people that doing dishonest actions or dishonest practice to the state or a company. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, in this modern era, the practice of state administration need to be monitored more precisely in order to prevent the possibility of corruptions. When the government is neglected in controlling the eradication of corruptions continues to occur year by year. Because there are no deterrent effect for the corruptors, the corruption always doing again and again. Well, from the opinion of the opening government before, we must clarify here that opening government say that the corruptors just have to pay back the money than being a poor people. They have just to being a poor people and not being an extremely poor and to start their life from zero. But here's we have to clarify that impoverished means that not only payback but also have to be impoverished. It means that we have to take all their money, and because we want to make their lives being miserable. And about that, they will think again before they doing corruptions. Because of that, there will be a deterrent effect for them. And now let's talk about the opinion of the leader of opposition. Well, the leader of opposition say that this is not a good regulation. We can just send them to jail. But there are no deterrent effect if we just send the corruptors to the jail. I will give you an example. For example is the case of the corruptions of phone assistance by Juliari Batubara in 2020. There is a state loss until 5.9 trillion rupiah for Indonesia. And then he's sentenced to 12 years in prison and refunded 14.59 billion rupiah. And there is always a corruption again and again. Corruption always occur again and again in our country and being a culture. And then the leader of opposition say that this is an unjust decision if we take all the money of the corruptors, because we have to think about their children, about their wife and their family, because it has their right. But this is the main goal, this is the main idea of this regulation. Because of this regulation, the corruptors will think again and again about what is the impact if he do the corruption. It will impact to their service and also to the people they live. In this case is family. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the distribution of loot or fines is left to the state and then included to the state treasury. Therefore, the fine money can be used for the benefit of Indonesian people, to the welfares of Indonesian people. let me tell you about the benefits when we do this regulation. First is this punishment for the corruptors is felt to achieve justice. So there is a fair justice for the corruptors that feel fair for the Indonesian people. And then the heavy sanctions for the corruptor will make those who want to corrupt will think again before do this honest practice. They will rethink before they do the corruptions. And then third, impoverishment impact in long term is it will make the corruptor trapped so that they don't commit to the corruption again. And the fourth is this is being a good example for other people, in this case is the government, to not doing corruptions because they will have heavy penalties. And the fifth is the corruptions can be prevented with fair punishment. Well, ladies and gentlemen, from the definition and also the opinion that I said to you before, I will conclude something. First, the regulation is very suitable for our country to be applied to our country, in this case is Indonesia, because they have to pay back and also they have to pay an additional fine in the form of material with the presentation of 50% of their own wealth. So it will make a deterrent effect for the corruptors. And because of that, we are very proud to propose. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Osama Tawagozi. I'm as a government whip. So we have a very special motion today, and that is this house would impoverish the corruptors. As we know that corruption as the abuse of entrusted power for private gain. Corruption erodes trust, weakens democracy, hampers economic development, and further exacerbates inequality, poverty, social division, and the environmental crisis. In this motion, I definitely agree about the motion because there's so much impact and there's so much negative impact that could be happened by the corruption. And I agree what my partner said that in economic impact also have the negative impact by the corruption, and I will explain specifically. Negative impact by the corruption is from economy. Corruption absorbs the cost of public service as well as increased tax. It damages the allocation of public resources. Moreover, it lowers the quality of public service. Corruption generates more social costs due to the non-transparency and presence of the protected network. And also, corruption diverts talent and resources, including human resources, towards lucrative, rent-seeking activities such as defense rather than productive activities, business, ultimately raising production costs and reducing the profitability of investments. Not only give impact to the economic, also the corruption also give impact to the whole country. And that is, what are the effects of corruption to the whole country? Corruption creates fiscal distortion and redirects money allocated to income grants, eligibility for housing or prisons, and weaken service delivery. It is usually the poor who suffer most. Income inequality has increased in most countries, experiencing high levels of corruption. Not only to the economic and the whole country, also the corruption gives impact to the social and economic developments. And that is, corruption creates negative national image and loss of much needed revenue. It devalues the equality of human life, robs school, agricultural sectors, hospital, and welfare service of funds. It discourages foreign investment, leading to the decrease in foreign direct investment. So by the impact that I explained, negative impact to the economy, to the whole country, and also to the social and economic development, we conclude that we totally agree about the motion to impoverish the corruption. Because why? Because what they did to the us, actually not only to the national, the corruption give to impact, also the corruption also give impact to their family. I agree with the second government speakers that if the corruption found out to be as a corruptors, they will sacrifice or they will killing also will embrace their family. So the family will get judged, will get embraced to the social media or in the social life. So I agree with the motion as the motion have benefits as what my partner said, that the benefits to impoverish the corruption also has punishment for corruption is felt to achieve the justice. And the second is heavy sanction for corruptor will make those who want to corrupt rethink. So politician or someone who can do a corruption also rethink that not only to the national they give negative impact, also they give impact to their family, and also their self too. They will get fines and also they'll get jailed to the prison. And the third benefit is impoverishment impact in long term is it will make the corruptor trapped so that they don't commit corruption. And the fourth is example for other people that corruptor makes so many negative impact. So the corruption also give an example for whoever in this Indonesia or in this world that they just give disadvantage to national and also their family. And the fifth is corruption can be prevented with fair punishment. So by the explanation that I explained to you, we totally agree about the motion because the impact that given by the corruptor, also the benefits that the motion is also has much benefits. So we are very proud to propose. The last I say thank you.